It's gonna be a story time of when my stepbrother killed our dog and fed it to me and my little sister for dinner. Let's get right into it. So my mom had died when I was younger and my dad had remarried. So I had a stepmom and she had a son. But let me tell you, we did not get along. I fought with him all the time. He would always bully me and my little sister and make fun of our weight. He would threaten to beat us up just for fun. Like, you in our house, get it together. I began to scold my dad because he was the one who brought them in this house and he wasn't doing nothing about it. He knew they were tearing our family apart and he did nothing. So, anyways, one night, my parents weren't home and my stepbrother had to watch me and my little sister. So he was upset because he had plans to hang out with his girlfriend. But that really sounds like a personal problem. Let me stop coming at this man. It's just making me angry thinking about it. So my dad had sent my stepbrother money so he could go get groceries so he could make us dinner. But my stepbrother didn't want to, so he sent me instead. Oh, mind you, I was like 12 at the time. And he sent me alone and my little sisters were sleeping. When I came home and knocked on the door, I noticed that our dog didn't run up to see who was at the door like she usually did. Then I smelled something coming from the kitchen, like for part 2. This is gonna be part 2 of how my stepbrother killed our dog and fed it to me and my little sister for dinner. So like I said, I got home from the grocery store and our dog didn't run up to the door like she usually did. I didn't think much of it and then I smelled something coming from the kitchen. What could he possibly be cooking if there's no groceries? And no, I didn't automatically think, oh, he's cooking our dog. Just hold on. Whatever was cooking on the stove, it made the whole house stink, but like I said, I didn't think too much of it. Now that I think of it, I heard the laundry machine going and my family had a set schedule for laundry. Like, we never did laundry off schedule, so that was kind of weird. My parents are just very organized people, besides the point. So I go upstairs to wake up my little sister and I see my stepbrother pass me and go down to the kitchen. An hour or so goes by and he calls us downstairs and says dinner is ready. All he did was boil some corn, give us canned peas, and some slab of meat. The meat was burnt, by the way. But I guess food is food. So we started eating this atrocious meal and all I could think about were these tiny little hairs that just kept going in my mouth. I kept pulling pieces out my mouth. Mind you, this hair had no color. It was burnt. Now our dog loved to eat dinner with us, but she was nowhere to be seen. I started looking for her and I realized that she's missing. It's gonna be part 3 of the time my stepbrother killed our dog and fed it to us for dinner. So like I said, I started looking around for the dog. I asked my little sister if she's seen her. She said no. So I asked my stepbrother and he says no too. So we trying to find this dog. I call my dad. He says she probably ran away, but no one let her outside that day. And I know she didn't just go outside. So the days pass and we're still looking for her and we hang up missing posters. I got my friends to help me. My dad's looking, my stepmother, my little sister, and even my stepbrother. As time goes on, my little sister and I began to fall sick. We go to the doctor. They say we have stomach problems. They said it was probably from something that we ate. And I'm thinking to myself, what abnormal thing did I eat? That random slab of meat. Because there was no groceries. Where'd he find that meat from? So I'm putting pieces together. You know, we're falling sick. The meat was hairy. Our dog is missing. Eventually, my dad ends up finding the dog, but it was dead and cut up. It's gonna be part 4 of the time my stepbrother cooked our dog and fed it to me and my little sister for dinner. So my dad ends up finding our dog hidden under some sticks in our backyard, but it was dead and cut into pieces. I might have been 12, but I wasn't dumb. I knew what's going on. So once my dad brings us this news, after he's done telling us what he found, I pulled him to the other room. I told him what I peeped. I was sobbing and I told him I think it was my stepbrother who did it. I told him about the dog not meeting me at the door, the smell of the kitchen, the hairs, the laundry, the fact that we got sick. I gave him all the puzzle pieces, but he told me that he didn't believe me. He said, and I quote, "Your stepbrother might be mean to you, but he's not crazy." I said, because it's right there. It is right in front of you. The evidence speaks for itself. I ain't gotta say too much. So my dad ends up not doing anything to my stepbrother. He faced literally 0 consequences. I'm 19 now and I don't talk to him anymore. Till this day, I 110% believe that my stepbrother did it.
So this Monday after school, I decided to ask my mom if I could have a sleepover at my friend's house. For reasons I will not be calling her real name, I'll call her Tracy instead. So after hours of begging and begging, she finally let me go. It was on a Thursday night and everything was perfectly fine. We watched movies, we listened to music all day. But then when it was time for me and her to go to bed, she seemed really off. She started getting really nervous all of a sudden. So I was like, hey, what's wrong? And she was like, I don't feel comfortable sleeping at my house. So because she trusted me, she ended up telling me why. She then said, so I see this dark figure in my room every night and it kind of looks like my dad. I always hear him groaning and I could see that he's looking at me. She then told me that she thought she was probably just paranoid considering the fact that her dad came home late and as soon as he got home he wanted to just get some rest, so he would just go to bed or lay down. She then told me that this had been going on for months and she always tries to get up to go up to the figure, but it disappeared every time she turned around for a second or even blinked. So now I have insomnia, so I told her, hey, you know what, don't worry about it, you can go to bed, I'm gonna stay up and keep a lookout. The night rolled in really fast and I ended up falling asleep for a little bit and I woke up to hearing my friend crying in the corner. She then tells me that she can sense him, so she kept her eyes closed because I told her to. I told my friend to close her eyes because I could tell she was really scared. And I told her I would look instead. So then at this point, it was 2 in the morning and I see the figure standing in the room. I start yelling at it for it to leave, so I pulled out my phone and I started recording, and that's when I seen the figure run away. And let me tell you guys, it ran away really fast. We stayed in the room and morning finally comes in and I decided to tell my friend that we should pretend to be sick. I ended up texting my mom everything that had happened that night. She texted me back and she was like, I'm coming to pick you up right now. So then after that, we ended up going up to my friend's mom and I showed her the entire footage. And after I showed her the video, she called the cops immediately. So then at that point, me and my friend are really confused and we're just sitting there waiting for the police to show up. But my mom ended up showing up before the police could. And when she showed up, she just grabbed my arm and she's like, it's time to leave. I don't want you staying at this house anymore. And then literally as we're leaving, the cops ended up showing up to my friend's house. That's when I seen my friend's mom show the cops the video. And they ended up arresting my friend's dad literally right after that. So then supposedly the mom had seen this figure go into her daughter's room every single night, but she was very close to like spiritual things. So the mom always thought that it was just a spiritual thing checking on her daughter. But she also thought that maybe she was just hallucinating. And then she realized that she would never see her husband there after he came back from work. After I showed her the video, she seen the bracelet that she had supposedly given her husband a long time ago, and it was on his wrist, and it was a red and black bracelet. And it stood out to her in the video that I showed her. So that was kind of like confirmation that it was her husband. After that, my friend's dad was arrested for CP and HT. And apparently this wasn't the first time that he had done this too. And the only reason that he was arrested for HT was because the police officers later found notes of what he was going to do to his daughter. And there was evidence of what he had done to his other children with his other baby mamas. After that, my friend and her mom moved away. And the dad was just barely locked up for good last year. He has 50 more years to go in prison. Since then, I haven't gone to any sleepovers at any of my friends' houses. Until recently, I got into touch with her right as I was about to enter high school, and she told me thank you for everything. She also said that if I didn't stay that night, she probably would have gone missing or would have been reported on the news missing. So she thanked me and told me she's starting a new life, and she also wants me to start a new life as well.
Bring back the story times. Bring back the okay. Unlike the other children, me and my sister grew up without any allergies. We had strong genes. I even got tested. I went to the doctor. I got tested and they were like, nope, you don't have any allergies. Dogs, cats, peanut butter, nothing. I'm sure I'm allergic to something in the middle of the ocean that hasn't been discovered yet. I'm sure I'm allergic to something like that. But the point is I'll never encounter it. My sister is, actually you tell me what this is. My sister over the weekend went to this new restaurant in Chinatown called Friendship BBQ. Shout out to y'all, amazing. But we had this thing that we've never had before. She ordered something called quail egg wrap. It was like a bunch of quail eggs in this spicy broth that was being like cooked under like this flame. Me and my friend were eating and we were enjoying our food, but then we quickly realized, whoa, this is spicy. They didn't ask us mild or anything. I think it just comes like that. But I stopped eating. I have a very low spicy tolerance. My sister does not. She likes spicy things. So she kept eating that. She kept eating her quail eggs and she kept eating that spicy broth by the spoonfuls. Me and my friend were enjoying the music videos that were playing on the screen. We were laughing, having a good time. We hear this. Look over to my sister. She just kept pointing at her throat and saying, it's swollen. What's happening? It hurts. I thought she was dying. So I remember that I had like my cousin's asthma inhaler in my bag, but I didn't have it in my bag. So I was wasting precious time searching my bag for this asthma inhaler that was not in there, while my sister was throwing up on the table. And I thought, okay, maybe that's gonna help. It didn't. She kept pointing at her throat. It's swollen. Luckily, my friend had ordered a tea that she did not drink at all. Gave it to my sister because all the water that she was drinking was not helping. And finally, when she drank the tea, she was like, okay, it's better. She looks at me and she goes, what was that? When I tell you, me and my friend burst out laughing. It was all the built up tension, I think. We were panicked. My sister has had quail eggs before, so it wasn't that. I told her whatever was in that spicy broth, you need to stay away from it. Guess who continued to eat spicy food for the rest of the trip? I told her, man, if you choke and die, that's on you. Didn't listen to me whatsoever. I don't care. But yeah, what do you guys think that was?
Storytime of how my stepmom got so jealous of me and my dad's bond that she plotted to kill me. So I never really liked my stepmom in the first place because she was a little controlling over my dad, and I just knew that she hated me and I really hated her too. But you know, my dad was in love and he seemed happy, so I didn't really say anything. And my dad would always take me to lunch on Saturdays and Sundays, and we'd have like a dad-daughter bonding day, I guess. And me and my dad were just super close. And every single weekend, me going to lunch with him would start an argument between them two because she said I was taking time away from them too. My dad really never chose sides, but I never really got involved in the relationship as much as I hated her because I just loved seeing my dad happy. Also, at this time, I was 15. And what I'm about to say next might sound just a little crazy and unbelievable, but I'm not sure who she was on the phone with. But while on the phone with somebody, she was talking about getting rid of me. Mind you, my mom had passed away when I was younger, and I really had no other family to go to. Now, this is where the story takes a turn for the worse and she tries to get rid of me. I'm running out of time, like, for the crazy part 2. Part Part 2 of how my stepmom got so jealous of me and my dad's bond that she plotted to kill me. Continuing on with the story, I don't know who she was on the phone with, but I overheard her on the phone saying that she was going to get rid of me. And honestly, I didn't really care and I didn't really think anything of it because I knew she was crazy, but I didn't think she was that crazy. So all of a sudden, she started making me breakfast. And I'm not a breakfast person. I can't eat right when I get up. So every time she would make me breakfast, I'd be like, thanks, but I'm not hungry. And she would get so mad. Like, so freaking mad. I'm not gonna get into all the little details, but come to find out, she was putting rat poison in my food. She had set up cameras in my room. And I don't know what kind of sense this makes. I think she's just crazy, but she started to hide snakes in my room and claim it was my fault that the snakes were coming in my room. Yeah, doesn't really make any sense. Once I told my dad and my dad got out of his little in love stage with her, he finally stepped up and said something to her, and she admitted that she wanted me dead. He eventually called the cops, and to this day, she is in jail for attempted murder. Oh, did I forget to mention the day that he broke up with her, she tried to stab me in the throat.